So in this video I'm going to show you how I made these bases for my Necron army. Now a lot of this base is covered up by the foliage that I put on there, but it has cracks and red showing through on the bottom. I don't know how well you can see that, but so I start out with a base that's been primed with the Necron on it, and I pop the Necron off so I can paint that separately. And what I'm going to do is, the first thing is I want to put some red on it, so I'm going to start with Khorne and just put a nice coat of red all along that. And again, this could be any bright color red underneath there. Doesn't really have to be this particular one. And I'll let that dry. Alright, so once that red is dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a little bit of white, just normal white glue. This is just one that I bought at the dollar store. And I'm just going to spread it across a certain area here. And I'm using just a very cheap brush. And you can make whatever design you want with this, but all I'm doing here is I'm just laying down a part that will have this glue on there. So what's going to happen is when I come back with my Agrellan Earthshade, when it goes over this part right here, it's going to crack rather deep, and this part it's not going to crack that much. So we'll show you what that looks like after we apply the other Agrellan Earth. So right now we'll just let this dry and come back when it's ready to go. So I applied Agrellan Earth to this, just painted it on over, and relatively thick, used a old brush to dab it all on. And you can see where the cracking is happening where I painted the white glue. So that's what you want to break up the terrain a little bit. You have smaller cracks coming off, and you have the larger cracks showing the red through. And then once this all dries completely, we'll give it a shade. Okay, so as you can see where the glue was applied, we have very wide gaps in the Agrellan Earth, and we have smaller openings around those. So I'm going to put a shade on here, and this is going to be Reikland Fleshshade. Let me see if I can get it to where you can see it. Here we are, Reikland Fleshshade, and you just flood it over everything. Then right away, while this is all still wet, I'm going to take Agrax Earthshade, and I'm going to apply that, and this is going to give us a darker layer, and I'm going to go on both sides. That's going to give us a darker shade when that all dries. So as you can see, that Agrax Earthshade makes a little darker areas. We've got good variety on this, so it's not just the same all over. And to finish it off, we're going to do a little dry brushing with Necron Compound Dry. Very, very light dry brush. You want the brush to be extremely dry. And there you go. Now the only thing left to do is the edges. And we'll begin that by actually scraping off the paint on the edges here, on